All right, guys, I'm back. I got my computer back. It was broken. Now it's repaired, and I am back. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and this video, guys. It'll help the channel grow. Let's talk about Jazz versus Spurs. All right, guys, this was a fun matchup between the Jazz and Spurs. It was really a game that no one really wanted to win. The Spurs did not want to win this game because they just found out before it happened that they had been eliminated from playoff contention. And the Jazz went into this. They had already locked up the 6th seed with Denver before this game started, but they did not want to win this game because there is an opportunity if they win this game that they fall from like the number 20 pick to like the 23rd. I think it comes up. It's going to be like a coin toss now. Instead of locking up the 20 spot in the draft, if they'd have lost, now because the Jazz win this game, they are going to have an opportunity to drop like 3 spots. So not great, but you'll take what you get from this game because you saw some things from some players that you really like. Not a lot to say about the Spurs. It's Coach Pop's first season of missing the playoffs for like since I was like a zygote. But you know he's been in the playoffs longer than we've all been alive, and he's an incredible coach. And it's just kind of weird the Spurs aren't in the playoffs. Maybe this is the beginning of their kind of downward turn, and maybe they find someone in the draft like they always do, but we'll see. But it's a different era of Spurs basketball. I do like DeJounte Murray. I think he's a really nice player. LaMarcus Aldridge is not a guy that I'm a huge fan of. There have been times where I thought he could be a really nice, power forward for a winning team, and I still think he can really kind of do that. But he can't be like the main guy on a championship team like at all. So interesting. And then we all know about DeMar DeRozan and what he brings. He's not a player that I would like on my team just because his style of play is just not that conducive to winning in modern NBA. I know he has like upped his assists, which is incredible, and maybe he can kind of transition into more of just like a point guard. And so that's kind of interesting with him, but the Spurs are out. Shout out to Pop, who is an incredible coach and has done incredible things for an entire career. And it's not like he's retiring. I'm sure he'll be back and they'll play really well next year and probably get someone or develop someone really good. That's what they do. That's the Spurs, and they'll just be back. For Utah, some exciting things from it. I mean, in the first quarter, you saw the Jazz starters, and that's basically all you got to see of them. You saw Donovan Mitchell running point, and it was fantastic. Donovan Mitchell only played 11 minutes tonight, but he was 3 for 5 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and those were like pull-up threes. That pull-up game for Mitchell has looked legit in this bubble. It's a small sample size, 8 games, but in the games he has played, and I think he's played 6 because I think he's sat out a couple, and he's only played short stints in a couple of these. But those stints where he's played, that pull-up 3 is falling. And if that's what happens, that's where you start getting into that echelon of players. I don't know if Donovan Mitchell will ever be as good as Dame. Dame right now is just out of this world. But one of the things that makes Damian Lillard so lethal is that he has that pull-up 3. If you go under the screen, Dame pulls up and buries it, And that's what makes Steph incredible, is his ability to pull up 3. I mean, spot-up threes Donovan's already got, and we know that, and we've talked about this on that channel. Donovan's one of the best spot-up three-point shooters in the NBA. Catch and shoot. If you throw him the ball and he's open and he just pulls up from 3, he's money. But it's that pull-up 3 where you have the ball in your hands, you're starting a pick and roll. If the guard goes under the screen and you just pull up from 3, and if you can make that with consistency, you become elite. And guys like Damian Lillard and Steph Curry, that's what they do. You go under the screen, you're done. And they bury it, and they bury it at a high level. And if Donovan Mitchell is starting to get in that echelon, you start getting into that caliber of player, sky's the limit. That's the shot. But the other thing you got to be excited about with Donovan Mitchell was the 3 assists in 11 minutes. So if you put out that time, 11 minutes, and you stretch that out to 32 minutes, 36, that's like, that's 9 assists. That's exciting stuff. So Donovan Mitchell is starting to figure out this point guard thing, and it makes me think that there are some trades the Jazz might be thinking about doing for next year where you give the reins to Donovan Mitchell and he runs the show. We'll see. The other guy that has been fantastic, and it was getting a little scary at the beginning of the bubble, was Jordan Clarkson, because he had some rough games, especially those first 4 or 5. He could not hit a shot. And Jordan Clarkson, as incredible as he is on offense, he is not a very good defensive player. So if he's not putting up that offensive output, it's rough. But Jordan Clarkson has turned it around. The last 3 games, he has been just fire, flamethrowers. He's been blowing people up, grenades, murder, destruction, sadness for the other team because Jordan Clarkson has been incredible. Jordan Clarkson, 3 for 9 from 3 tonight. I'm actually surprised looking at these numbers because his 3-point shot is falling, but he was a plus 12, and that's just shows his ability to spread the floor and score the ball. He's just instant money, instant buckets. Fantastic. And he is, like we've always said, he is that perfect 6th man who can come in and just score. His job is to score, and that's what he does, and it's fantastic. And it's really great. Royce O'Neal, I don't know if he got hit by some gamma radiation at some point, but he turned into the Hulk. At some point, we're seeing a superhero. He turned into the Hulk. He's Bruce Banner, but his name's Royce O'Neal. Tonight, he just had 1 rebound in 11 minutes, but his rebounding has gone up. And he, does it once a game now where, some guy, is in transition going to the bucket, and he just, rips the ball out of their hands like a child trying to be petulant. And Royce O'Neal instructs them in how to be. And that is that they will not score on him in transition. It's incredible. He does it once a game. Watch for it. They will go up, and he will pull the ball out of their hands or initiate a jump ball. It's amazing. And it's fun to watch. Royce O'Neal, honestly, so I wrote a thing for SLC Dunk where I said, and it was called No Bogey, No Problem, ? And it was all kind of dependent on Royce O'Neal, and Royce O'Neal is answering that call big time. Royce O'Neal is a starter. Royce O'Neal needs to start for this Jazz team because he hits the 3 at a high level, above average NBA level. I think 36% is average NBA 3 now. It's crazy how good the shooting in the NBA continues to get, but he shoots it at 40%. So he is a high level 3-point shooter, and that's perfect. And then when you consider that he's now rebounding the ball and able to switch and guard anyone on the other team from 1 through 4, unbelievable. So the Jazz are going to play the Denver Nuggets, and Rudy's going to guard Nikola Jokic, and Royce is going to guard MPJ. And MPJ is not a good defensive player yet. He's not. So if Royce O'Neal can do his work against MPJ, Jazz are going to look good against Denver. Believe me, Royce is going to be a big part of that. Royce is a starter, and he is just flat out a high-level NBA role player. Hits threes, defends, moves the ball within the offense. He can drive and dunk, too. I honestly wish Royce would just go rise up and mac on somebody more often because he is incredible. Let's see. Finally, just a quick note. No, we're going to just... Oh, the other guy that was big time, and he's starting to, the last 3 or 4 games, his 3-point shot is falling, is George Niang. He was the walk-off interview for TNT. Fantastic. George Niang, 5 for 10 tonight, 3 for 8 from 3. Consistent 3-point shooting, and was a plus 13 for the game. I think did he lead the... No. Rajon Tucker led the team in scoring. Amazing. But George Niang, everyone who talks stuff about George Niang, you need to stop because he has been very good in this bubble. The shot just hasn't fallen. It's been a slump in the shot, but he moves the ball on offense, and his offensive rating is always high, and that's because he just does the best shots, whether it's him taking a spot up 3 or he passes it to one of the better offensive players. The offense flows with George Niang on the floor, guys. It just does. And watch it. His passing. I know he's not the most high-level defensive player, but guess what? He forced Zion Williamson into bad shots a couple times when he was guarding him. He's played good isolation defense at times. Is he an elite-level player? No. And he's never going to be... And I've at times wondered if maybe he could play the 4 spot for the Jazz, and that's just probably not going to happen. But he is a high-level 4 for a bench unit because he can shoot the ball and pass and even handle it a little bit. He can even go to the rim a little bit. It's a minivan, so it's slow, but he's got great touch too. If you go look at the advanced numbers for his touch, fantastic. So shout out to George Niang. If his shot is falling, that's big time for the Jazz bench because that's what was happening with the Jazz bench, which was so bad. The George Niang 3 was not falling at all, and the Jordan Clarkson 3 was not falling at all. And so we shouldn't be that surprised the bench struggled. Now that those 3s are falling, maybe the bench isn't such a problem. But the 3 guys that I'm just super impressed with for the Jazz development guys who got a lot of minutes in this game and ended up winning the game. I mean, San Antonio was playing their some of their best guys, and DeJounte Murray, Bellinelli was playing, Lonnie Walker was playing, and these guys are regular rotation guys for the Spurs. Jarrell Brantley, Miaoni has now gotten himself regular bench minutes. But Jarrell Brantley, Miaoni, and Rajon Tucker are three guys that I really love, and Juwan Morgan. Tonight, I think that was the difference, and the reason the Jazz won this game is because you had Brantley and Morgan both playing power forward center, and they can just switch off in that position because both of them can play center. Juwan Morgan shot 60% from the field in the G League because he just makes the right shots. He takes threes, he makes inside buckets, he doesn't take bad shots. He's a good defender. I mean, the Stars had the best defense in the G League, and it was behind Jarrell Brantley, Juwan Morgan, and when Rajon Tucker is in the game, you're going to have good defensive plays too. The reason I'm really excited about Rajon Tucker, and the reason that we should just not see Emmanuel Mudiay play ever again, is, and it kind of shows tonight, if Emmanuel Mudiay plays tonight, guys, the Jazz don't win this game. Period. Rajon Tucker scores 18 points tonight. He was 6 for 12 from the field. He was only 1 for 4 from 3. But the thing that gets me really excited about Rajon Tucker and what he can do, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He led the team in free throws. Rajon Tucker gets to the line. He goes to the rim with ferocity, and he gets up and he gets fouled every time because everyone doesn't want to be dunked on by him. He is a legit backup player, and I hope that we don't see Emmanuel Mudiay ever again, and that Rajon Tucker gets those minutes. Jarrell Brantley was fantastic tonight. 13 points. He had 6 assists. Jarrell Brantley is giving me some hot takes. This guy needs to be playing regular minutes. Jarrell Brantley played point guard for the last 4 or 5 minutes for that Jazz bench unit. If you have a guy like Jarrell Brantley who can play point guard, you can put him on the floor with someone like Donovan Mitchell, and that allows Donovan Mitchell to be the main point guard. Because Donovan Mitchell, the reason that you maybe don't give the ball to Donovan Mitchell 100% of the time, and the Jazz haven't completely committed to Donovan Mitchell as the point guard, is because you run into problems like we saw. Remember when the Blazers had Dame and CJ, when they were playing against the Pelicans with Anthony Davis, and you had Drew Holiday just lock down Dame, and they didn't have enough ball handling to get the ball up the floor. If you have someone like Jarrell Brantley, that allows someone like Donovan Mitchell to be the main point guard, because then you have enough ball handling on the floor to get the ball up. That's why if you can develop Jarrell Brantley and he becomes something, it becomes pretty incredible. And Donovan Mitchell showing that he can play point guard tonight really gives the Jazz options this offseason, with maybe a trade for Mike Conley at some point if you want to, because he's got 1 year left on his deal. Maybe you make a trade of some sort. But Jarrell Brantley, 6 assists. He had that monster dunk. He plays high-level defense. 4 rebounds. I don't think he had 1 block, but man, he'd contest shot. He is 6'5", 6'6", but he has a 7'1" wingspan. It's crazy that that's still 8 inches shorter than Rudy, but 7'1" at that height is incredible. Look at his arms. They are so long. And what that does is that allows him to contest shot without having to jump. So he's not going to foul as much. So personal fouls, only 2 fouls for Brantley in 28 minutes. That's what length does for you, is you don't have to jump. You can just contest without rising up. That's what makes him such a lethal defender. And it allows him to kind of recover a little bit too. And he's so strong. I mean, most of the time he's going to be playing against power forwards, but he has the athletic ability to switch. So he becomes a switching defender, however you want to say that. It's exciting stuff. Really exciting stuff. So you have only 2 personal fouls, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and then I think he had a steal too. You know what long arms mean? Long arms mean steals, because you get balls in lanes and pull ball. You just get steals with long arms. It's fantastic. I just can't get more excited about Jarrell Brantley. And if Jarrell Brantley in these next year or two can develop a consistent 3-point shot, this guy is starter quality. He really is, because he has all the tools. He has the motor. He has the athleticism, the ability to guard. It's really just a knockdown 3-point shot. And if he does that, then he's like better Jay Crowder with handle and length. It's exciting stuff. It's really exciting stuff. And then finally, Miaoni, who is just like an athlete on the floor, who's hitting shots. 2 for 5 from three, 40% from three tonight. That's big time. He in transition is just such an incredible athlete. I mean, when you get the ball and Oni has it in transition, he just outruns everybody and he dunks it. He's fantastic in transition. He's earning minutes. And these two, Jarrell Brantley, Miaoni, and then also add in Rajon Tucker. I like Tucker a lot. These three guys can be the bench. And we'll see over time. The Jazz will continue to bring in players and draft picks, and the cream rises to the top. But you've got guys like this that can now start filling roles, play sufficient, average level to high level minutes where you're not giving up leads, but at least sustaining leads that the starters are bringing you. That's fantastic, fantastic stuff. So you've got to be excited if you're a Jazz fan about what the Jazz are doing with their development, because they've got three guys that really can play bench minutes. And you can have Tucker, Brantley, and Juwan Morgan too. I mean, these four guys can be on your team, and you can switch them into that bench, and then you put in other guys like Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, all these guys that can play off of these players and keep a high-level defensive intensity while also scoring the ball. Exciting stuff. Jordan Clarkson, too, playing with these really good defensive players is perfect. So anyone who's saying the Jazz don't have a chance against Denver, and maybe this is turning into a Denver thing, be careful, because this Jazz team is going to be really good, and they are hitting the right notes right as they enter the playoffs. So fantastic stuff. Guys, like I said, this has gone really long, but I missed talking to you. I had things to say. Like and subscribe to this channel, guys. I will talk to you later.